Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 130, and I'm Lisa, your host, also known as Fiber Nymph on Ravelry, Plurk, and Instagram. Um, I am on Plurk. I just don't get to Plurk very much anymore. Part of it's because I'm on my phone a lot, and I have not found a good phone app to use for Plurk on my new phone. Well, it's not so much new anymore, but and trying to use it from the web, excuse me, on my phone is just really cumbersome. So I apologize if you're on Plurk and you wonder why you don't see me there much anymore. Um, I'm there. I just don't get to log on very often unless I'm actually on my computer. So anyway, let's see. Today is Thursday, August 7th. I can't believe we're in August already. This summer is flying by, if you can call it summer, because weather-wise here in southwestern Pennsylvania, it has been rather autumnal lately, especially in the mornings, and that's not a complaint. I will take that over the hot, sticky, humid stuff any day, but it's weird. It's making me wonder what fall is really going to be like once it gets here. So, anyway, that's that. Let me say hello to Jenny from Sweden. Hi, Jenny. She introduced herself on the 90% Knitting board in the welcome thread. So thank you for watching and introducing yourself. And let's get started. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to show you. I've been working a lot, so not a lot of knitting time, but I have some things. First thing is I finished the Afghan square that I believe I showed you last time. And it did indeed end up being all yellow. Let's see, this was the top, so this was the last bar that I ended on. I think it's pretty because I love yellow. I've always been a fan of yellows and oranges, which are not necessarily really popular colors with a lot of people, but I like them, and so I'm really happy that I'm going to have this really bright, happy yellow square in my hands, or my hand-spun Afghan. So that one is finished. I think this was number 16, 17, I don't remember. I'd have to look and see. They're listed on my page. Anyway, I finished that one and I started another one. Now this is the part of the ball that has a ton of really fun colors in it. I can't remember, I don't remember what fiber this was, like who dyed it or what kind of fiber, literally what kind of fiber it is. It's been really nice to knit with though, and I don't think I actually spun this as a gradient. I think I split it and then just spun the two together, the two singles together, so there's some overlappage, but it is very gradient-esque. So this square, while it's starting out with the yellow in the middle, and it's probably going to be yellow, I would say, through most of the second round of squares too, I'm really hoping to hit this purple on the outside because I think that would look really nice. I may actually have to manipulate a little bit to get that because I don't want this square to be completely yellow. I think this will be really a nice complement to having this big yellow square somewhere in the Afghan and then have this one that has the yellow center. So actually after I'm on the first round of so here's my middle, and then I've got the first one, second one, third one. So on the fourth log cabin cycle of that first round. So actually, once I'm done with this, I may pull out a lot of the yellow and force it to get to the next color. Because I figure if I do that, I'll definitely get to the purple somewhere. And if I have to, I can rejoin the yellow at some other point, because there is yellow on this very outside too. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. When I knit with hand spun, I try not to do that. I kind of like to just let it do what it's going to do. That's sort of the fun of knitting with hand spun. But because I want it to not look really wonky in the Afghan, I may have to do a little playing. So we'll see. But anyway, that was some of what I worked on. The other thing I worked on you haven't even seen. I started it and finished it. As you know, we have the head to toe knit along going on, right? And I figured July was the hat month, the headwear month, not necessarily a hat. And my original plan was to do that sheep head hat. Remember by Kate Davies? I have the kit. I showed it to you. And I said, this is going to be what I'm going to do after I finished the colorwork mitten that I was working on. Well, I never finished the colorwork mitten. Therefore, I never started the colorwork hat. And it was getting really late into July, and I thought, okay, this is horrible. I'm the one hosting this knit along. I always suck at knit alongs anyway when I try to do them. I thought, I am not going to just let this go. I need to cast on a hat. So I went to my bins, and let's see, this bin up here has a lot of my tweed yarns that I love. I love tweed. It's just, I honestly could probably knit with tweed and hand spun the rest of my life and be perfectly happy. Except for socks, because tweed really doesn't work for socks, and I have yet to successfully spin a sock weight yarn. So I probably need some sock yarn in there too. But outside of that, I could be really happy with the rusticy looking yarns. So anyway, I cast on a hat using Kathmandu, it's Queensland's Kathmandu DK weight. And this is, I don't know what color it is. I don't have the tag in here. I'm sorry. It's just a number. It's on my project page for it, so you can look it up. I used US 7 needles, a 16. No, that's not right. I started with the US 5 for the band. See, I don't always do that with my hats. Sometimes I just knit with the same needle the whole way through, but I thought ahead and I started it on US 5. And then once I got to the body of the hat, I went up to a US 7. Now, here's the story with this hat. I was planning to just do a plain vanilla hat. But if you know me and you've watched this very long, you know I'm not really good with just doing plain vanilla anything. So I decided, well, you know what, I'm going to just do a simple pattern on it. And it worked out. And pretty much through most of the hat, if you can see it, it's just intermittent garter ridges, and they sort of vary. They're garter ridges with breaks in them, and then the next one, like, then I knit a couple of rows, then I did the next row of garter ridges which have a break in a different place. So it kind of works that way. Almost like a maze. So if you were following it down, it would be like this, you know, like that. And if I ever actually write up this pattern, that's probably what I'll call it, maze. However, I did really well up until about here, which is where I started doing my decreases. I knew I wanted it to be a slouchy hat because I actually want this hat for me. I don't wear hats a lot, but I like having one for winter. Like if I'm out taking a walk or I'm doing something with the firewood, you know, whatever, in the winter time, I like to be able to throw a hat on. I don't like really tight fitting beanie hats. I look horrible in them to begin with. So I like a slouchier hat. So that's why I went that far, because usually I would probably only go that far before I started decreases, but I went a couple extra inches and I did my decreases. Well, I was not at home when I was doing these decreases. I was working on this in the car, and actually when I got my hair done, I got my hair cut. Did you notice? I really like it. I know, total tangent here. I got my hair cut. I wanted it a little shorter. It's actually still a little longer in the back than I thought it was going to be, but it's a work in progress, both that and the color. I got rid of my blonde highlights because they were really starting to look ratty. They were so dry. I would brush my hair and have little snibbles of, it looked like blonde spaghetti just because it was so dry and breaking. So I told her we need to get rid of that. So I just didn't want to do the extra processing on those segments of hair. So I went back with the red. I used to have this reddish brown, and I really like it. It's a fun color, and because it did have the lighter areas, it almost is showing up as highlights. The plan was to have it be the red and then do like an ombre, a darker ombre thing down here. Didn't quite happen this time just because this is already so dark. So that too will be a work in progress. Anyway, divergent there. On to another topic. But anyway, hat. So I was working on this. I finished it while I was at the salon the other day. So I was not writing down the pattern. I have the pattern written for this part, but not the decreases, how I was spacing them. And by the end, I was just throwing random decreases in because I had it so messed up. And so I will eventually, someday, I will write this because it's a DK weight. I like writing DK weight patterns just because I don't feel like there's a ton out there for things like this. So eventually I will get it written up. And I'll work out the decreases so they make sense and not just be like, yeah, I'll decrease here and be all random. Anyway, okay, so that was it. I got that on, and I would try it on, but it will mess up my hair. Okay, I'll try it on just for the heck of it, just so you can see how it fits. There, see, there's like the slouch, a little bit of slouch. It's not like a huge big slouchy slouch. And yeah, I have to do something with my hair. Anyway, I like it. So I did finish a hat. I will admit I did not finish it in July though. I missed the deadline, but since I'm not eligible for a prize anyway, it really doesn't matter. At least I got a hat done for the knit-along. I forgot to tag it though. Don't forget you can be tagging your knit-along projects. And I'm going to just segue right into the knit-along because that was the next thing I was going to talk about anyway because I haven't done any more knitting. Let me get to the knit-along page on Ravelry. Again, if you haven't started joining us for the knit-along, there is the head to toe knit-along, July through October. It's stickied at the top of the board. And I have all of the guidelines and everything written in the very first post, so you can find that. The tag, if you're participating though and you want to tag your projects, tag them 90KH2T, 2 as in the number 2, T. And you can tag them both on Ravelry and on Instagram with that, and that way we can see what you're doing. I have to tag mine yet. I forgot to do the tag. I'm bad with tags. So anyway, July was the headwear, and I'm going to go ahead and do the drawing. This was so much fun. I love seeing how many people participated. I have locked it. We had 164 entries. That's great. Thank you for participating. Let me get to the random number generator. And so it's 2 through 165. I'm going to draw for 2 prizes. The first prize is going to be one of my Flurry cowl kits. This is the pattern that I released during SSK weekend. And there's the picture of the cowl, and it's called Flurry. And this one is with black and gray. So this is going to be the first prize, and the second prize will be your choice of pattern for anything that you could use in one of the upcoming months in the knit-along. Either this month, which is neck and upper back, next month, which is hands, and October, which would be feet, or a large body item. That does not include blankets or afghans. I've been asked that several times, and it doesn't. So sweater, vest, large shawl, those kind of things. It needs to be adult size so that you're using like at least 1,000 yards worth of yarn for the most part, close to 1,000 anyway. Children's items aren't going to get you there. So, okay. So you can pick, whoever wins that prize, you can pick whatever pattern you want off of Ravelry up to $6, and I will gift that to you. So those are the 2 prizes. So let's do that. Okay, so the winner of the Flurry cowl set is number 132. Let me get to that page. Whoops, passed it up. 132 is Alchemy. And that's all she has. She doesn't have her actual name written down, or he. I don't know if it's a he. But Alchemy, congratulations. You have won the Flurry cowl kit. So if you PM me with your address, your mailing address, I will get that sent out to you. And Alchemy's entry was the hipster cred hat. That's really pretty. That's a color work hat. I like that a lot. So anyway, congratulations. I'm going to write that down so I remember. All right, and now let me do the drawing for the pattern of your choice. Number 78. Okay, so that would be on a different page. Number 78 is Knittin' Mountains, and that is Amanda from South Jordan, Utah. So congratulations, Amanda. Please PM me and tell me what pattern you would like for either the neck and upper back knit along this month, or the hand knit along next month, or the foot knit along the following week or month, or the large full body one. So preferably one that you actually want to do for one of the knit-alongs. If you don't get to it, that's fine too, but that's what the offer is. Any pattern up to $6, let me know and I will gift it to you. So, alrighty, let me write that down. Alrighty, there we go. So congratulations, and again, thank you to everybody who participated in July's knit along. That was a lot of fun. For August, I have not started my August project yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I have a few ideas. I could do another flurry for myself or for Emma. I don't know if she's going to need one. I mean, she's going to North Carolina. I'm not exactly sure how cold it gets there. I don't know, but I'll probably let you know when I record next time, or I'll post it somewhere. I'm actually thinking about, let me see if I should have looked this up. I'm sorry. There's one that I've seen. Actually, there's two. And they're both color work. And I think they're really, really cool. One is called Hocus Pocus by Thea Eshelman, which is a very Halloween-y kind of cowl, and I think that would be excellent for the coming fall months. And then the other one is Industrial Skies, also by Thea Eshelman. That's funny. That one I already have in my library. I don't have the other Hocus Pocus one yet. But those are the two I'm considering. I've got a bunch of really cool cowls, though, in my queue. That any one of them would be a lot of fun to do. So I'm going to do something out of my queue. I'm really trying to knit from my queue. Oh, looky, there's the Dateline cowl. I already did that. I can remove that from my queue. Alrighty, so that is that. I do have the board or the thread up for you to put your finished neck and upper back items in, and I know some people have been posting to that already. You are industrious and getting things finished quickly. So we've got a scarf, a mini shawl. Oh, somebody posted a flurry. Oh, I just saw that now. Midge817. She has the flurry in the purple and red. Cool, way to go, Midge. That looks awesome. I love it. There's another cowl. That looks like a Mobius kind of cowl or scarf. A honey cowl. A linen stitch cowl, another small shawl, a boneyard shawl, that's what it is. So anyway, awesome. We're off to a great start. Please post your pictures. I love watching what you guys knit, especially when I'm not getting to knit very often. Oh, I want to spin too. I might do that later today. I may just take some time. After I get all my work done, I may just sit and spin the rest of the other half of that fiber that I already showed you that I started at SSK. Maybe that's what I'll do today. I need some downtime to just spin and relax and not be stressed about everything in life. Sorry. Okay. What else? Oh, this is exciting. Remember I told you that I was interviewed by Laura, who's Jinx, from the Dyer's Notebook podcast? The interview is up. I just got to watch it this morning. She PM'd me and ear burned me days ago, and I feel really bad that I have not told her that I got that. But I wanted to watch it first, and I haven't had time, but that's what I did this morning. I laid in bed and I watched it. I'm sorry, I never get used to seeing myself on a video like that. I mean, I don't really rewatch my podcasts unless I have a reason that I need to. I hear what my voice sounds like when I'm talking normally, but when I hear myself on a video, it sounds so different. And it's like, ooh, is that really what I sound like? I don't know. Plus, my hair was going crazy that day because it was like humid and nasty. And I remember it was just a really crazy day anyway. But it's up, and it was a fun interview. I listened to it, and I don't think I babbled too badly. If you watch this podcast regularly, you're probably used to it anyhow. But she was a lot of fun. Great interview. Lots of great questions and fun to. It was actually fun for me from the perspective of a lot of the questions, you know, asking about inspiration and my process and, you know, things like that. They're not things that I think about real concretely on a regular basis. You know, it's just I kind of do what I do. So when you're asked those kinds of questions and you have to be able to verbalize those sort of things, it takes thought. And even though I had been reading the thread she had on her Ravelry group, where people could list questions that they wanted to ask, I was keeping up with those, and I thought, oh, that should be no problem. I can answer those. I didn't formulate really any specific answers in advance. So as she was interviewing me, I was really thinking at the time, how best to answer those. And it was a fun exercise. It made me actually, as I was listening to it today, it made me think, there's so many things in life that we just do, not just your work, but just things that you do that you don't think about because you've either been doing them for a really long time, so they're like second nature, or they're things that just come naturally. And sometimes I think it might be good to actually just take time out, step back a little bit, and think about some of those things. Now, I'll warn you, I'm prone to overthinking things, and I can analyze the crap out of just about anything, and I do sometimes, and it annoys me and it annoys other people. I know that. I don't do it to be a pain, though. I do it because that's how I'm wired. When you have a master's degree in counseling, your analyzation is ingrained. So there's that. But anyway, I was just thinking about that. There's so many things in life that are just sort of, they just happen. And some things aren't always good that they just happen, or that you just let things happen without thinking them through. Especially, are they still serving you well? There's things that we do in life that we've done all our life. They may not be serving us all that well. So sometimes it's good to take a look back. Wow, I'm getting philosophical on this. I didn't mean to. Anyway, please watch the interview if you're interested in that. It was a lot of fun, and she's adorable. Laura is just adorable. It's the Dyer's Notebook podcast. I will put a link to the interview in the show notes, and you can probably also find the link on her group, the Dyer's Notebook podcast group on Ravelry. So I will include both links for those things, and you can watch that. I think that is everything in the 90% section. 10%. Let's see. My garden's doing really well. I picked my first tomatoes yesterday. I was so excited because I've been going down there pretty much every day. I go down and pick hot peppers a lot because we are being inundated with these hot banana peppers. It's crazy because I've never really planted hot peppers before. Lots of them. They're growing really well, and I'm super glad. It's fun. It's still magic to me that I can grow things that I can eat. But anyway, I was down there yesterday, and I saw this little flash of red. Now, I knew there were some tomatoes that were going to be turning soon because they were getting that pinkish hue to them. But suddenly, there were tomatoes that were, I would say, 80% ripe. I'll admit the 4 big tomatoes that I picked, I probably could have left on the vine another day or two. But I was impatient and I wanted them now. So they're sitting on my windowsill to ripen the rest of the way, which I do that a lot anyway. I'm always afraid they're going to rot or fall off or whatever if you get a storm. So I don't mind picking them a little bit early. But there was little cherry tomatoes that I swear were not red at all the day before when I was down there. And there was just a little handful of them, but that was fun. So I got tomatoes. I've been picking peas. You never get a ton of peas at one time because I didn't plant a ton of peas. But I get a little bowl full. I put them in salad one day, or like a caprese salad. I just threw them in with that. I haven't used the ones I picked last night. I might just eat them today for my lunch or something. I don't know. What else did I pick? There's another zucchini almost ready. So that'll be my 3rd zucchini. The second one turned out to be this monster zucchini that came out of nowhere. Like I hadn't even seen it growing, and then suddenly, boom, huge football-sized zucchini. Football, I guess not really a football. It's not that shape. But you know what I mean. How they just sort of come out of nowhere and blow up and are huge. One of those. I'm picking zinnias left and right. I love having flowers in my garden. I've never planted pickable flowers before. I think I mentioned that. So I've got flowers scattered all throughout the house. Some of the cosmos are also blooming. They don't seem to bloom quite as prolifically as the zinnias. But anytime they're down there, I go down, and unless they've already started to fall apart, I pick them. So I've got some in the dining room, some in the kitchen, some in Emma's room. I just love fresh flowers. They make me happy. And I'll tell you what, spaghetti squash, oh my goodness. We're gonna have hundreds. I've got to start, I think, picking some of the blossoms off so that the energy is going into the squash instead of growing more squash, because I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I mean, I eat them a lot. I love spaghetti squash, and they should keep well if I can find a spot in my basement, to kind of keep them cool. My basement gets warm in the winter though because I've got the wood burner down there, so that, you know, is a problem. Plus my garlic needs to be stored inside or else it'll freeze and get mushy. So I'm hoping to kind of construct like a cold cellar kind of cabinet in the one corner of the basement. That's been the most recent thought process. We'll see how that goes. A carpenter I am not, but it'll get figured out. So yeah, that's the garden. The only thing I have not yet picked, or, well, I haven't picked the spaghetti squash. They have to harden. I was reading about that. See, that's a winter squash. Vining squashes are apparently winter squashes, like pumpkins and acorn squash, butternut squash. Those are winter squash. And you can't pick them prematurely because they will not ripen if you pick them too early. They have to ripen on the vine. Excuse me. Although I have picked pumpkins before when they're only partially orange and they have turned orange later. So I don't know, but I don't want to mess with the spaghetti squash yet. Whereas like summer squash and zucchini, those aren't vines. They're plants, big plants with the big leaves and everything. So that's the difference. I didn't know that. I've got a gardening book I've been reading. It's been a wonderful resource. Anyway, the only other thing we've got down there that I haven't done anything with, besides the sunflowers, which are really tall, they haven't created flowers yet, but that's coming, are the red sweet peppers. There's a lot of peppers on the plants, but they aren't turning red yet. And I need to research that because I'm not sure if I pick them, if they'll turn red after I pick them, or if I should just continue to leave them on their plants. I'm afraid they're going to get really tough if I leave some of the bigger ones on there much longer, so I have to figure that out. If anybody has any insights on that, let me know. Because I mean, they're green, and I know you can use them green, but I'm not a fan of green peppers, and I bought these plants because they said red. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, garden, doing great. I am so excited. My herb garden right now is in hiatus because I dug all the herbs out. I may have mentioned this the last time I podcasted. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I'm redoing that whole bed, adding a walkway around that end of the house, so it'll be kind of like a hard border. It's looking really good. It's in process. Once the whole project's done, I will put a picture up so you can see it. But my herbs right now are just all living in a bucket. I dug them out, stuck them in the bucket, and I'm watering them. They seem to be living. The basil's surviving anyway. I can always get other herbs. They're pretty easy to replant. So I'm not worried about that. Anyway, so that's going great. Let's see. What else 10% wise? Emma, we're still in that countdown for school. Last week was the buy all the things week. We went shopping a couple times. Her bedroom is piled up with stuff that we're going to need to take down to school. It's so much fun. It's almost like setting up housekeeping. See, I did not stay in a dorm when I went to school either time. I commuted for undergrad, and then graduate school, I lived at school, but not in a dorm. I was, I was older then anyway, so I never had to do the dorm thing. So this is fun for me too, and neither of my other two have done college with dorms either. So it's a new experience, having fun. I feel like we will never be done buying all the things, but she and her roommate have been, communicating so they know who's bringing what for some of the bigger stuff, so they don't both bring, TVs or area rugs, things like that. Anyway, yeah, let's see. That's how far. I'm trying to not mentally count it down too much just because I don't want her to go. No, I do want her to go. I've said that before. 1, 2, 3. Less than 4 weeks, like 3.5 weeks, we get to go. I'm trying really hard to spend as much quality time as I can with her right now. And I'm going to start to cry. She's older and she's got her own social life, and so she's gone a lot, and I'm busy with work and my own things that I'm doing. So those times that she and I get to spend together, whether it's just to sit and watch TV together or to eat together or whatever, it's valuable. It's really valuable to me right now. I mean, it's always been valuable, but like now, because I know when it's going to end and I'm not going to have it again for a while. I don't know. I'm going to miss my girlie, but I'm really excited for her. Oh, what else is going on? My grandson's been up visiting. He's been up. This is the third week he's been here. This is it. I'll see him later today. Actually, he's with Emma right now. They're over at her dad's. So he's here. He'll be here tomorrow, and then he goes back home. So I won't see him again for a while, but he is adorable. He's 9 and smart as a whip, and he's very into, electronics like most kids are. So sometimes I get him outside and everything, but he was so funny whenever we were out. It was one of the days he was here last week that we were shopping. So I guess it was Thursday, and I unfortunately had to drag him along. Well, actually, he needed a pair of jeans. He didn't have any long pants with him, and he needed some long pants. So I bought him a pair of pants, not jeans. He does not like jeans. He likes sweatpants. So we got sweatpants. But while we were at Target, we did a lot of Emma's shopping and everything, and he was holding the door. Now, I know that seems like a really minor thing, but that kind of stuff isn't always taught to kids these days, and I don't know who taught him or how he learned it, but I'm thankful he learned it, because he did that for me a few times that day, either leaving the house or coming out of the store. He opened the door and held it for me, and my heart melted. I thought that was so freaking sweet. So, oh, I love the little boy. What else? I've been reading. I think I've mentioned that before too. I told you about my Audible account, did I? I think a few months ago I mentioned that I was thinking about getting rid of my Audible account. I love audiobooks because I can listen to them while I'm dying, and I don't have a whole lot of reading time in general. So audiobooks are great for while I'm working. I can listen to them. Well, I did end up ditching the Audible account after I finally had used up all this backlog of credits that I had, and I had still been getting more. I was just doing one credit a month. But they really weren't going very far, because for a while I was listening to the Kinsey Millhone mystery books by Sue Grafton, and I think I got up through K. K is for killer. And that was when I stopped my Audible account. And I miss it, but those books are like potato chip reading or listening. I can finish off one of those in a few days of working. And so that was going to be expensive if I had to start buying them, so I didn't want to do that. So I didn't really listen to anything for the longest time, and I started to read. I have a few books. I don't know if you're a reader and you have specific books that you love. Do you reread them? Or I'm sure some people do. I have some books that are perennial books that I tend to reread them, and I tend to reread them around the same time every year. This is one of them. Nora Roberts, Jewels of the Sun. It's a fluff, pretty much romance, but it's set in Ireland. It's the first of a trilogy, and it's my favorite out of the 3 books, The Gallaghers of Ardmore. And I've been to Ardmore, which makes it even more fun. Anyway, I started rereading this one a couple of weeks ago, and I was only reading like a few pages at a time, because usually I was reading like right before bed or right when I first woke up in the morning. I didn't have a lot of time, or I'd fall asleep. So it's taking me a while to get through it, but I'm enjoying it. I love having downtime to read. And it's funny because you can see where I'm at in the book now. I'm almost done. This is about the point in the book, every time I read it, I get really irritated, because both of the main characters act stupid. And you want to just say, for Pete's sake, you love each other, let go of the small crap and the misunderstandings, and just get on with it. Thankfully, they end up doing that. Spoiler, I guess, if you haven't read it and want to, but I love this book. So that is my current reading. However, going back to Audible, I missed Audible too much. So I was on Audible probably about a month ago, and I found a couple of really short books by Anne Lamott. One was called, I'm going to totally forget. The second one I listened to was called Stitches. The one before that was Help, Thanks, Wow. And they're both spiritual kind of books, spirituality themed. She's an author, and I love her books. I love her. I've never read any of her fiction, but her nonfiction, really I love. And she has a book called Bird by Bird, which she wrote years and years and years ago on writing. And so back when I was a writer, I worked as a writer, I read her book a lot. I read that book multiple times, and I've given it to Emma. It's one of my favorite books to share with people who want to write. because it's a lot about process and everything, and makes sense. But anyway, she wrote these 2 books, and she's a Christian, a liberal Christian, and it's funny, my own spiritual journey has it's definitely changed over time. That I relate way more to the kinds of things that she presents than to the really conservative thinking that I was brought up with and spent a lot of time in my earlier adult life. And I'm not trying to get into a big theology or spirituality conversation, because I know everybody believes different things, and that's great. But anyway, those were really good books, and they were really good books for me at that point in my life with things I'm dealing with now. And then another favorite author of mine, from a spirituality standpoint, so I guess I'm on a spirituality kick right now with my books, is Barbara Brown Taylor. She is a former Episcopal priest, and she left the church. Matter of fact, she wrote a book called Leaving Church because of a lot of things that she was dealing with and just not sure that it fit well anymore. And I could relate to that book because I was in a similar place with my own church thing at that point in time. But this one that I just listened to of hers is called Learning to Walk in the Dark. It's a short book. It's only about 10 chapters. She reads it, and her voice is very soothing to listen to. It's called Learning to Walk in the Dark, and the subtitle is Because Sometimes God Shows Up at Night. And it's really not just about physical darkness, it's about spiritual and emotional darkness, those dark times and dark feelings we tend to have. And I've had a lot of that lately. And like just within the last couple of years, there's been a lot of things. That book really spoke to me. So I listened to that book, and then I started it over because there was so much. And it's funny, with audiobooks like that, I wish I had the hard copy so that like I could listen and then find something that I really like and go back to the hard copy and highlight it so that I can pick it out again and think about it. And I'll probably end up buying the hard copy of that book too. But anyway, that's been where I've been at lately with my listening. And that book, honestly, she's got enough of a diverse approach to spirituality. It's not hardline Christian. So if you're not a Christian, you might still enjoy that book just for the other things that she presents. I don't know. It's just what I've been listening to, and I've really, really enjoyed it. What's the book I'm listening to now? Oh, it's another spirituality one. It's called Angry Conversations with God. I'm not sure I'm liking this one yet. I'll have to get back to you on that one. And I can't even remember the name of the author. But I'll tell you about that one some other time. I didn't mean to go on and on about books like that for so long. Cooking. I did do a couple of Pinterest recipes recently. One was excellent. The other one was eh. The eh one was sweet potato crisps. Like you grate up sweet potato and add stuff to them and bake them. They did not turn out well. They needed something. I don't know. They didn't actually even get very crispy, quite frankly. The other one, though, was Parmesan broiled tilapia. I did not use tilapia because I didn't have any, but I had flounder, and it worked out great with the flounder. Really tasty. Oh, my goodness. Really, really good. So I'll link to that one, too. All right. I think that's everything. I think I babbled more about 10% than I did about 90% today. Anyway, let's see. Shop news. I'm not going to stop for a shop segment because it's going to be short. Again, I want to just thank everybody who made use of the coupon code for the Flurry Cow when I released it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy knitting it. And if you've bought one of the kits from the shop, there's still, I believe, 2 left up in there. I'll probably do some more later on. But for right now, those are the last 2 left. But the pattern is still available on Ravelry. The coupon code ended at the end of July. I'll probably offer another coupon code again at some point for it. But for right now, it's up there if you're interested. But thank you for those of you who have already bought it and are knitting it. I loved seeing that picture just now. That was great. I have the second of the 2 show leftover shop updates happening tomorrow, and I really wished I could have recorded prior to today because I wanted to let you guys know that. But it is going to be tomorrow. That is Friday, August 8th at noon Eastern. Today, the rest of today is going to be devoted to taking all my pictures and putting my listings up in preview mode. So I'm kind of down to the wire on that, but that's what's happening. So anyway, that will be tomorrow. Let's see. Tomorrow there will be a lot of fiber. There will be fingering weight gradients. There will be a lot more self-striping sock yarn. And I believe my variegated and tonal colorways are in this group too. So there's a lot left from the shows. So be looking for that. And I think that's it. Nothing else that I can think of. Nothing else in my notes. I think I covered everything. If you are one of the KAL winners from July that I drew just before, please PM me so I can get you your prizes. And other than that, I will see you the next time I record. Hopefully it won't be 2 weeks. I know I'm on this 2-week thing again. It just happens that way sometimes. Yeah, I'll do my best to record next week. That's the best I can do. Hopefully I'll have something to show you. Hopefully I'll have some spinning to show you. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. I hope your weather's being a little more cooperative than it is being here. But anyway, have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye.